It's the Empty Room Podcast, Episode 2. In today's episode, we talk about Mel Gibson way too much, we get angry at the Boston Red Sox, and we wonder where the direction of music is going. So welcome, and sit back and enjoy Empty Room. Welcome to another edition of the Empty Room Podcast. This is episode 2. Episode 2, and I'm Scott. I'm joined here with Eric.
That's me.
And another week has gone by. It's time for us to talk about what has happened. But first, before we get started, Eric, you had a pretty amazing evening tonight. You want to share?
I got to meet comedy legend Dan Aykroyd tonight.
Where'd you meet him at?
I met him at Cappy's Liquor Store in Peabody, Mass.
Well, if you're going to meet Dan Aykroyd somewhere,
might as well be a liquor store.
A liquor store makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, I would think so.
And what was the promotion for?
Well, he was there. I mean, it was advertised as he was signing bottles of Crystal Head vodka. Which is a company that he founded. So it made all sense in the world.
Sure.
I bought a couple bottles. I will have a good time drinking them.
So, one last question before we move on to the news. In the beginning, the true beginning of the Empty Room Podcast, what was it like to meet Ray Stantz?
It was one of those things, unlike a convention where you might have a little bit of time to, chat up with the guest or the star or whatever. This is really just like, handshake, picture, get your bottle, go. I mean, he was certainly very nice. He wasn't an ass by any stretch of the imagination, but
that's good to know.
He signed anything. I mean, it wasn't just bottles. I mean, people had
babies.
I don't know of anyone that signed any babies, but there were several people there who had homemade proton packs.
No way.
Sure. One guy had a very nice-looking trap from a Ghostbusters trap.
No.
That Mr. Aykroyd signed. He didn't charge anything for that.
No.
There was no charging for signing non-bottles of booze.
Right. I mean, if you're going to buy the booze, that's where your donation comes in for the signature. But if you're just signing awesome, cool pieces of Ghostbuster art that you've created, he was okay with that, huh?
Yeah.
That's great. Dan Aykroyd, Ray Stantz, the same man, the same wonder.
Yeah. Good guy.
I was hoping he quipped a little bit from Ghostbusters,
No, he didn't do anything like that.
No.
Yeah, it was a really fun time once we actually got up there. It took forever to get up there.
Boston traffic?
Oh, God, it was terrible.
Well, it is the summer. It is a Friday.
That's true. But we were expecting some traffic, but it took us over 3 hours to get up there.
What car were you in?
We were in, not that they would know who he is, but we were in Stevie's van.
Oh, Stevie. Yeah, I think one of the reasons you had this opportunity was that our dad, who's a euphonium player, baritone player, got the opportunity to play in the band that represented that event.
Yeah.
And he had to dress he had to dress like a blues brother.
Yes. Sunglasses and all.
Good question. What'd they play?
I don't know. I don't know the names of any of the tunes.
Did they play Everybody Needs Somebody to Love?
No, it was nothing from the movie.
Oh, okay.
It was more upbeat stuff. I honestly don't know.
All right, so nothing caught you that you remembered.
No, it wasn't anything from the movie, so they didn't do that. They did. One thing that made me laugh was that the quartet there did play the Canadian national anthem, which I thought was really funny.
Aykroyd is Canadian,
That's
correct?
true.
Yeah. I'm a little jealous. I can't lie.
You should be.
So we're gonna start with the news. We're gonna go through the news, and then we're gonna hit some sports talk, and then we're gonna finish with some entertainment. And actually, we should start with religion, Eric. Let's start with religion.
Okay, fine.
Are you ready?
All right.
The Pope's a pretty good guy.
Didn't we say this before?
Yeah, but this is our religious segment. This is our religious segment. The Pope's a pretty good guy.
Yeah, he seems to be a good deal better than the last one. I think I said that before.
You did?
Seems to be doing some good stuff, leading the church in hopefully a better direction, a good direction.
Right. I think just a simple, yep, he's a good guy.
Yep.
That works.
Good guy.
Okay, on to the news.
Fantastic.
Religious segment is open. Religion's hard because people take religion very seriously, and we do too as well. We have our beliefs, I would think, Eric. However, we like to keep it to ourselves, and any news that intertwine with religion we'll talk about a little bit. But as of now, I got nothing. And I got nothing. And the Pope's a pretty good guy.
He's a good guy.
All right. So the news. Snoop Dogg and Bob Beckel both have admitted to smoking marijuana at the White House. What do you think of that, Eric?
One, I'm not surprised. Although I have no idea who Bob Beckel is.
Bob Beckel is a guy who's on the Fox 5 program. He's a very liberal person. He's their liberal voice on that program. He's kind of he's the antithesis.
Try and get these words right, shall we?
Well, it's been a long day. But yeah, antithesis of some of the other members on the show. So he admitted yesterday that, they were talking about Snoop Dogg claiming that he got really, really high at the White House. And Beckel basically stated, well, I can't really knock the guy because I also have done dope at the White House. Now, do you have a problem with it? Do you care?
No, I don't care.
Do you think Abraham Lincoln's rolling over in his grave? Do you think George Washington just threw his teeth at the top of the coffin he's in? Or what do we think?
I think they both did that a very long time ago and had nothing to do with weed. No, I don't care. We have so much other stuff to worry about other than a guy who regularly gets high, getting high again.
Well, maybe that's the problem. Are we in such a deep hole as a country that the entire White House is going, screw it, light up. Snoop Dogg's here. We're going to party. Don't worry about what anything else is going on. I don't know if Bob Beckel generates that type of party, but Snoop Dogg does. He's pretty renowned for that.
Well, yeah, he is. No, I don't think. I wouldn't.
It reminds me of that old Dennis Miller bit where he talks about how every new president, once he gets elected, goes to the front of the table and gets meet by his first committee member who says, all right, Mr. President, here's what's really going on. You think things are bad? Look at this. Ka-chink, ka-chink. You're going to need a cigarette. So, the guys who really know what's happening and how bad it really is, if they're in the situation where it's like, yeah, you know what? Snoop Dogg's here. Heck, Bob Beckel's here. We got to deal with that.
Bob Beckel's here. He's the party master.
So that was one. That was a good opening headline.
No, I'm not. I'm not particularly surprised, and it doesn't throw me off at all. No, not really. No.
Okay, the second headline of this week that was quite interesting to me: the Brooklyn Bridge. Do you know it?
I know of it.
You know of it. It's a bridge in New York, and it has American flags on it.
I think I heard about this story.
You did. And all of a sudden, one night, all the American flags were white flags.
Was the Brooklyn Bridge surrendering?
We don't know. I mean, when I first saw it, I was thinking to myself, the bridge has decided no mas, we're out. So I don't know. But the real question is, they can't find out who did it. They don't know how they did it. They're looking at footage. They're trying to run VIN numbers of cars during the day. They have no idea what this is about.
Well, I mean, it's a very impressive prank, if that's what it is. I don't know. I really don't know what to say. I mean, it is kind of funny. It's like, oh, look, the Brooklyn Bridge is surrendering to somebody. I don't know.
I mean, is it just some creative rock climbers that have decided to go and make a statement?
What statement? I mean, what's the statement?
Maybe under the bridge, there's a writing with spray paint that says, "This message is brought to you by Turk 182." Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? I certainly was an impressive feat, especially since no one can find out how it happened.
Yeah, with cameras on, you would think there'd be something.
Yeah, you'd think so.
But rest assured, Eric.
I think that, yeah, I mean...
Rest assured, today, those American flags were back.
Oh, well, good.
It was a short surrender.
Yeah. The bridge made a mistake.
The bridge is a flip-flopper. Yeah. It does not know its convictions.
I'm going to give up. No, I'm not going to give up. I'm good. I'm going to keep doing what I do.
Eric, the WWE used to be close to your heart. I don't know if it still is.
No, not really. It is what it is. It's somewhat entertaining at times, but it's not nearly what it was now.
But I don't know if you noticed, but they've brought in 2 Russian characters, circa Nikolai Volkov, the old days. The new guy who's a Russian wrestler, and they're going with that whole sort of Cold War arc that they used to do in the 80s with Hulk Hogan. Yeah, they are. I read about it.
It's so stupid.
So the guy, the Russian guy, is led along by a very tall, beautiful woman, blonde. I don't recall her name. Kind of like Rocky IV.
Is this Rocky IV?
Kind of like Rocky IV.
Is this Ivan Drago?
I must break you.
I must break. If he dies, he dies.
Even though Dolph Lundgren was Swedish and an MIT grad. But he did say if he dies, he dies. So anyway, this woman does her spiel. And what's the spiel called in WWE world?
Promo?
The promo, that's right. So she talks.
She worked the mic?
She worked the crowd. And she referenced that poor, unfortunate Ukrainian plane that was shot down.
That's not a good idea.
And sort of the crowd, from what I heard, the crowd kind of went,
There's a difference between getting heat and just being hated.
Now, I remember the old days of the Iron Sheik, the Nikolai Volkov days, even Hot Rod, Roddy Piper. And they would say some pretty crazy things.
They would say some crazy things, but it would be in the name of getting a reaction from the crowd, because most of the time, any reaction is a good reaction, as long as there is a reaction.
Correct.
The one thing you don't want is silence.
or ew.
Or kind of like what was that about?
Oh, no.
When you reference something that just happened.
And not just anything, something horrible.
Yeah.
Something we were all
very, very
like,
horrible. And it just happened. And you use it in the name of getting heat from the crowd. You're in trouble. And you got, I don't know. I had read a very, very little about this story because I don't follow wrestling as much as I used to. But it didn't go over so well.
No, I mean, it couldn't have. I mean, you got to be pretty cold-hearted to kind of make light of that.
Yeah, it's just not a good idea.
You know?
There are plenty of ways in the wrestling universe to be hated, especially a foreign character. It's so easy because it just is. You say anything within reason, and you can get pretty decent heat. being a foreign character. It's just not that hard. Even even a character like the what was his name? Ludwig Borga from Finland.
Well, the Finns definitely have an issue with us.
He got decent heat for about a month before people stopped caring.
Well, that's a month too long, you ask me. The Finns don't really have that much of an issue, I would think.
But it was not a good idea. There's so many other roads you could have gone down that you shouldn't have done that. I mean that shouldn't have happened.
I think we agree, and hopefully she is pretty sorry about that. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they was like, yeah, we went too far.
Another interesting thing in the wrestling world, that's a more serious thing. This is more of just a cool thing. Their next video game, 2K15, I think it's being called.
They really do have 2K15s, 2K14s for WWE stuff?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of moved on from like SmackDown versus Raw video game because that doesn't really matter anymore.
Didn't they just sort of engulf everything anyway? So
yeah, now it's just WWE.
It's us versus us.
Yeah, now it's WWE 2K14, 15.
Smart. That's probably a smart move.
And this video game will feature someone who has never wrestled for the WWE at all, although everyone wants him to. He's never gone down that road, and that's Sting.
Sting.
Yeah,
the human verb.
Yes, the human verb. He will be a playable character in the video game. Both versions of himself, the original Surfer Boy, blonde hair, stuff like that, and the Crow.
Yeah, I like the Crow Sting, to be honest with you.
Once he adopted that, he never really went back to the other one.
The Crow Sting was the way to go. And if I had my druthers, I would want to see the Crow Sting versus the musical Sting in a cage match, specifically.
You mean the musician?
The musical Sting. Because if it's all verb, it's musical Sting.
No, it's the musician.
No, but if it's a verb, it could be the musical Sting.
I'm not doing this with you right now. I'm not doing this.
I want the Sting from the old 1984 movie, Dune. I want him and the Crow Sting to go at it in a video game format, and I want to see how that turns out.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But this is all leading to a speculation that Sting might actually sign with the...
Yeah, but Sting's got to be old at this point.
Oh, he is. He's in his 40s. He's in his mid-40s.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he was a lot older than that.
No, he might... Well, I don't know. He did break in about the same time as Ultimate Warrior did. So, yeah, I guess... No, he's in his 50s. He's got to be in his early 50s.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there. But he still looks in excellent shape.
Oh, those guys work out for a living. They better. Eric, do you know who Rupert Murdoch is?
Yes, I do.
Rupert Murdoch lately has decided in an article that he plans to move most of his stuff away from physical print, meaning newspapers and books, going more digital. That's a big deal.
It is a big deal, but it's probably the right move.
Right, but as people like you and I, not so much me anymore, who work in that industry.
Well, yeah, it's an issue, but I mean, it's unfortunately a kind of a dying industry. It just is.
It is. However, the counterpoint to this is that a couple of magazines and a couple of newspapers have tried this, and it's bombed miserably. They've had to actually go back to regain readership. There's something about having paper in your hands, a book in your hand, turning the pages yourself, the physical pages, that is actually quite interesting or enticing, I guess would be the right word. So, between you and me, I think Murdoch might be making a mistake here.
It's certainly possible, but no. I think in the end, it's going to be the way to go no matter what, unfortunately. But Rupert's a pretty smart guy. He'll know when it works. He'll know if it works.
Do you think he's just going for it as a trailblazer and then betting that people follow the path?
No. I mean that can't really. That can't really be the thought because people have already done it. I mean that doesn't make him a trailblazer. So that makes him
right. But he's one of the bigger guys to go after it and do that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be a wait and see situation anyway. He can always make a decision to return back. He's got enough assets in that field anyway to really make a return to print if he wants to. But
sure.
But the news that he was going to try to go fully digital and step away from the print, I thought was pretty interesting.
It's unfortunately the way things are going to go. I'd rather they didn't. I prefer print. I prefer holding something in my hand that isn't a screen. But, you know.
Well, the screen started to hurt my eyes, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And it's just annoying.
I mean, I battle headaches based on looking at laptops and iPads and iPhones all day. By the end of the day, my eyes are pretty hurting.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, I agree. I go through the same thing, so yeah, it can get pretty painful.
Do you believe that the smartphones nowadays can do things beyond what they're capable of? For example,
I don't know what that means.
I'm getting there. For example, a smartphone app has just come out that says it can repel mosquitoes with high-pitched noises.
Will it also call dogs?
The mosquitoes are gone, but the dogs are coming.
You don't get bit by mosquitoes, but you get mauled by a pack of wild dogs.
I don't think that app's going to go very far.
It's cost.
But that's the thing, right? It keeps getting newer, these new apps, these new items that are claim to do things that you just wouldn't expect.
Yeah. That is a weird one.
I got another weird one right here. Those little wristbands now that people wear to work out with.
Yeah, the Fit bands. Yeah,
yeah. They're making a Fit band now that if you don't reach your athletic goals, it shocks you. So you're like, all right, I'm going to run 2 miles, and I got to do it in, 10-minute mile per. That's not too tough. But let's say you get a side stitch, and you can't
stop after 1 3/4 miles.
You can't get there, and you start walking, and next thing you know, your time's over 10. All of a sudden, you get electrocuted by your Fit band, and it yells at you and calls you horrible names. I don't know if I want that.
No, I don't think the negative reinforcement idea is gonna go over very well.
Next thing they'll know, they'll make Fit bands that spank you when you eat something wrong. Like I keep thinking,
did you just eat a donut?
I keep thinking
you're dead.
I keep thinking of Dodgeball, where he's trying to eat the pizza, that he electrocutes himself to say no pizza for you. No, you're better than this. Yeah, I don't know. See, as it is, it's kind of weird. You have these fitness apps, because I've used them. You try to lose a little weight or you try to do some running, and they're recording where you went. They're recording how fast you went. They're recording how much your heart rate probably changed. And that's a lot of information that goes into somebody's data banks. What if someone wants to rob me, and he can go to my, run app site and see that every Thursday I make this loop around here, and if I can see the loop on the Google map, then I can find a place to hide and surprise me when I run by, take my phone, and then kick me right.
Your Fit band? You gonna take your Fit band too?
And then kick me right in the stomach and leave me there laughing. And
he's gonna kick me and make fun of me. Then the band will shock me because I'm
because the band will not shock me because I did actually reach my fitness goal because this guy planned it all out and stole everything. Yeah, I don't like this, Eric. This is not a good thing for me.
I will not get one. I have no interest in them, in any Fit band, not just the shocking band. I have no interest in them. And if if you're that scared that someone's gonna kick you and take your phone, then you shouldn't buy one.
Oh no! I mean, the answer is we all go back to the normal. Turn the phone off, leave it at home. But then you're always worried. Like if something happens, you want to be able to call 911 and get some help. Blah blah blah. Or call a friend, whatever. But at the end of the day, you turn it off. You leave your phone, or maybe just carry it with you, but turn it off, and you take the run without recording it because it's okay to just take a run or take a walk.
The app's not on your phone. It's the band.
Both of them. The phone or the band.
Don't
do what?
I don't know.
The last thing on the news docket, and then we'll move on.
Okay.
Is that there was a bill brought up to the FEC. You know what the FEC is, Eric? They control communications.
Federal something.
Yeah, federal. I don't want you to do stuff that's bad communications thing.
How does that get transferred to FEC?
I don't know, but these guys do the books, the TV, the movies, that type of thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so the FEC decides what you do. And the Dems have been putting pressure on the FEC to...
Are you sure it's not the SEC?
No, that's a conference. Back to editing. Edit this as well.
Oh,
the FEC.
No, what was
Or the FCC. The
FCC.
Federal Control Commission's Control.
It's the SCC. No, it's the FCC.
More editing.
I love to edit things.
So, we'll start again. The FCC, which controls the books and the TVs and all that stuff.
Yeah.
The Democrats are putting pressure on the FCC to ban certain conservative authors. Is this a problem for you, Eric?
Well, yeah, banning books is always a bad idea, no matter who the author is.
That's right.
That leads us down a very bad road that I don't think we want to travel down again.
I agree.
But for me, it's not about, the author's conservative or whatever. It's the idea of banning books is not a good idea, no matter.
Yeah, if you have an idea, let the book go. Who cares?
Yeah. The FCC has been a thorn in the side of everybody.
They're kind of used as a weapon, whoever's in power.
Yeah.
Well, that's happening a lot, kind of like the IRS and some other organizations as well, the EPA. Whoever's in power at that point in time use those tools as a weapon against their opponents.
And, yeah, they're a weapon, but they also like to do things themselves because they can. They've been given this power to censor and edit our stuff, our entertainment, our whatever. And they've used it with a heavy hand. And it's just... They do some good. I guess they do it because they think it's the right thing to do, I guess.
We need Twisted Sister back. We need Frank Zappa back.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
We need John Denver back.
That's not going to happen either.
Guys that will stand up and say, hey, this is my art. It doesn't matter what you think about it. It's freedom of speech. You let it roll.
But yeah, the whole idea of banning books or authors, it's not a good idea.
Not a good idea. Okay, let's segue.
And that's the news that certainly makes me want to booze.
Sure thing, and we can agree it's still kind of bad.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But we like sports. Sports are fun. Sports are a good diversion, and that's what sports are, a diversion from the bad news. And we've mentioned before in our pilot episode that we are in New England. We are Boston fans.
True.
We'll talk about some other stuff, of course, but we like to focus on the Boston teams. And the first story that I want to talk about is Big Gronk's cleared to play. Big
Gronk is cleared to play. Rob Gronkowski is on the practice field with his teammates at the New England Patriots. His knee's not 100%, but it's getting there. He's in good shape.
I don't think it's going to matter because whether his speed is up to 100% or not, I don't think that's what he's good at. I mean, he's always just kind of been. I mean, he's been quick. Don't get me wrong, but he hasn't been a trailblazing speed. He's been a giant dude that can run over people, and he doesn't necessarily get open, but because he's so big, so much bigger than everybody else, and Brady's so accurate, it's a potent combination.
Yeah, he's pretty much a wrecking ball. You'll just go forward and just crush anybody that gets in his way. He's just that big of a guy.
And then hit the party scene right after.
Yeah. He'll hit a guy, then hit a party. That was a bad joke, but screw it. I try here, people.
You try. So that's a big deal because I think that makes their offense way more interesting and more deadly in the NFL. I mean,
way more deadly.
They've done so much work on their defensive side, which I think is going to be pretty impressive this year.
Yeah, they're going to have a nasty defense.
But having Gronk available to go along with some of these younger wide receivers and the running backs. I mean, Tom Brady's still Tom Brady. He's going to do what he does, and I think Gronk's essential.
Yeah, I think I like to see what Cambrell Tompkins is going to do this year. I think he's having a year to get his feet under him, maybe make his hands work a little better.
Tompkins was amazing because I've never seen anybody catch as many footballs as him by bobbling them every single time they came into his hands. It was unreal.
I know. It was just
every time Brady threw the
stop. Every time he threw the ball to him, it's like, oh, he's going to catch it? He's going to catch it? Oh, my God. Yes, he caught it. All right,
even
good.
the big game, what was it last year where they won in the final ticks? Was that against New York? I forget.
I don't remember.
But they threw, he caught the ball in the end zone in the corner. And even then he bobbled that ball and then brought it in. So he catches nothing clean.
No, nothing.
Maybe he catches a cold clean.
But you're going to have Julian Edelman back in there, so that's good. He was Tom Brady's top receiver last year. Then you're going to have Amendola back, see if he stays healthy.
Amendola's done.
Oh, yeah, probably. But
he's done.
No, he'll still give you a good.
We ended up holding on to really just a damaged Wes Welker named Amendola. He's just not sort of the same player, but can't stay healthy, and just no.
Well, no, he's not as good as Wes Welker is. He's not even close. But the Patriots didn't want Wes Welker. It's quite obvious that they didn't want him
because of all the feet jokes for.
Well, he was kind of being a jerk.
Rex Ryan probably didn't care. He probably thought it was funny.
And Bill doesn't really like that.
No, he doesn't.
And whatever Bill doesn't like, you're gonna get trampled over because Bill is the boss.
So Eric, let's stick with football here.
Okay.
Ray Rice just got 2-game suspension for knocking out his fiancée in an elevator at a casino in Las Vegas. It's not funny. It's kind of interesting because they have suspended other people for saying derogatory comments for 4+ games. They've suspended coaches for saying derogatory apparently, it's okay but from the NFL
beat the crap out of your fiance,
but you can't make fun of anybody or you can't say anything that's a slur.
No.
Now, don't get me wrong. Slurs are not cool. You shouldn't be doing those types of things. I get that. But I would think beating up a woman might be worse than that.
Yeah, and I was listening to sports radio, and they were talking about it. And they seemed to think, or someone, I don't remember who, seemed to think that since he had been such an upstanding citizen before, like he had been like the model of a good football player off the field, that they kind of gave him a break.
Yeah, but my counter is this isn't a speeding ticket. It's not like my driving record's been pretty good.
I don't agree with it. I'm just saying that's what one guy said.
I'm just telling you my point of view here. It's not like a speeding ticket where, my driving record's been pretty good, but since it's been good and I got my first ticket and I was going 150 miles per hour, they're going to cut me some slack. No, this is physically harming another human being and dragging her out of an elevator. Now, it turns out that he's married that woman, and that's his wife now. And maybe I hope they've worked things out, and you got to hope that something like that never happens again. But just 2 games?
Apparently, yes.
Oh, wow. The NFL are Ravens fans.
Apparently.
That's a little beyond the pale for me. Hey, the Celtics signed Evan Turner.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I don't know who that is either. But actually, no, I do. I did a little homework. Evan Turner was the 2nd overall pick in 2010, and he played for the Sixers for most of his career. And then last year, he played for the Indiana Pacers. And when he was a part of that Pacer squad, he was like a hemorrhoid. He was just causing problems all the time.
So he's kind of a dink.
And that's what I hear. and now he's going to be getting the Rock in Celtic green, which to me means, again, they're getting rid of Rondo. Because you got to have all these, you're getting all these guards that can create. That means it's time for Rondo to go play in a different uniform.
Yeah, while you can still get something for him. Yeah, I mean, this is all leading towards Rondo being traded. They pooped all over themselves.
Not pooping.
Oh, yeah. Full on, all over.
Oh,
head to toe.
Easy.
Head to toe.
This is a quasi. No, it's not. It's not a family show, but it's. We gotta have taste here, and we're not talking about German defecation.
Oh, I mean, it was just like smearing.
Oh,
like,
come on.
Like we want Kevin Love, but no, we're gonna just dump our heads in shit.
They still got a ton of first round picks. They still got some talent. I think if Danny Ainge is smart. And there's no reason to think he's not. He's probably trying to package Rondo and Green and get rid of them and get somebody suitable to play with these young kids, and then another draft pick or two, and then go for broke the next free agent period. Because you knew you weren't going to get LeBron anyway. Nobody wants him because he's not better than Tim Duncan. He's not better than Kevin Love, Kevin Durant. He's not better than.
We're not getting into this conversation.
It's my segment.
No,
it's the LeBron segment. It's the LeBron segment. Who is better in the National Basketball Association, whether it be now or in the past, than LeBron? And today's better player, by far, is David Robinson. David Robinson was a beast. He was a 7-foot center who could do damage. He was built like he was chiseled from rock. He could run the floor. He scored 78 points in a playoff game. Was it? It might not have been a playoff game. You can check me on that. But he did score around 78 points in a game before. He is better than LeBron. Thank you.
Nobody cares.
I know one person who cares, but besides that, you might be right. Besides that, speaking of trading high-priced talent, I'm sure you've heard that the Boston Red Sox have decided that they're going to shelve all communications and negotiations with one left-handed John Lester. Which,
it looks like they're going to try and trade him.
As they should.
Why?
Because they're sellers. They're stinky. They smell.
So, but you don't sell off.
Sure you do. When you're not. I mean, they made an interesting point on WEI today that I had not considered, and that was, even during the horrible Bobby Valentine year 2 years ago, they were not this bad. Their record was 500 at this point. Back then. It's not there now. They're losing a lot of games.
Yeah, they are losing a lot of games because they're not a good team.
And they got to they got to sell Lester because Lester's going to bolt. He's already admitted that.
He doesn't want to bolt.
He hasn't admitted it.
He doesn't want to.
When you shelve negotiations, that means you're going to check free agency.
Yeah, but his people didn't shelve negotiations. It was the ownership that did.
Yeah, because the ownership was like, look, they're not talking to us. There's no... I mean, I don't know what to say per se based on the Red Sox, but I can see where they're coming from. You give a couple offers, you get shoved off.
You gave embarrassing offers.
Well,
they were embarrassments.
They weren't... I mean,
they were. They were absolute embarrassments.
Well... I don't know, man. Someone threw $70 million in front of me, I'd be jumping
That's
for
not
joy.
The point. That isn't the point.
You're right. It isn't. It's sort of it's a cheap pop on that topic, but still, someone's going to give John Lester, and God bless him, $130 million to pitch somewhere. It's just not going to be the Red Sox.
Yeah, I know.
You sound like you're moping over there.
Well,
over this.
It sucks, man. He's the best pitcher we got. I mean, we'll give 5 years, ungodly money to John Lackey when he's 31 years old.
No, they're gonna make.
No. I'm talking about when we signed him. When we originally signed him, he was 31 years old.
That was different management.
Oh, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It was not. It was same. It was the same.
It wasn't
ownership.
Sherrington. It was.
You really think? Do you really think that Sherrington was the one that came up with 4 and 70 for Lester? Not even close.
No, it was the guy who's over in.
It was
Chicagoland.
the ownership. No,
it was Chicagoland. What's his name?
No,
Theo.
No, shut up.
Theo in the gorilla suit.
Quiet. You're an idiot.
Wow, thanks.
No, the guy who came up with 4-70 for Leicester this time around was the same guy who gave Lackey 5 years, whatever the hell it was.
I mean, it was a pretty crazy contract, basically, especially if they knew that he had Tommy John coming their way.
They absolutely knew he was going to have.
I mean, if they knew that,
Tommy
why
John
did they
surgery.
front load that for him to pitch poorly because you knew he didn't have an arm? That's sort of weird. It's a weird contract.
So you're going to give Lackey that kind of a contract when he's got an elbow hanging by a thread and he's going to miss an entire season, but you won't give Lester, a guy who has pitched anywhere between 31 and 33 starts after coming back from cancer. You're not going to give him shit? I mean, it's awful.
Well, I mean, they made a decision based on. I mean,
it's a bad decision.
Apparently, it's not the money that's the issue; it's the longevity. Apparently, 6 years is what the Leicester camp wants, and they're not going to go 6 years.
You go 6 years for John Lester.
Well, you absolutely have some emotion behind this decision
because he's the best pitcher we got. Are you really comfortable going into next year with your ace being Clay Buchholz?
No,
really.
Clay's got to go too. I would sell both those guys. And
for who?
And
you're going to get crap for Buchholz.
Well, I know, but I would sell both those guys somehow, some way. Just get rid of them. Well, actually, no. Lester, we want some quality people back for. Buchholz you can get rid of for a bucket of balls. I mean, I feel kind of happy with Webster coming up and De La Rosa doing what he does, and that's not a bad.
De La Rosa got shelled the last time he went out, and Webster's no better
because they're both not ready yet, but they're close.
They're not that close.
Well, at some point, I mean, if their goal is to stay fiscally responsible, giving John Lester 6 years,
they don't need to be fiscally responsible.
$125 million isn't the way to go.
They don't need to be fiscally responsible. They don't. They think, for whatever reason, that they have to be fiscally responsible. They think they can because it got them a World Series last year when it really didn't. They shelled out a crap ton of money. They overpaid for Johnny Gomes.
Well, I mean,
you gave Victorino 3 years, $30 million.
Yeah, the Victorino thing looks pretty bad now, but at the same time, if it got you,
well, I mean, his first year he earned every cent of that money.
Right.
This year, not so much. The guy's been hurt. It happens. Hopefully next year he can bounce back, but I'm not holding out too much hope for that.
He's pretty old at this point.
He's, early. Well, I actually don't know how old he is. Was he 33? Something like that?
Yeah. I mean, I remember all his golden years in Philadelphia when he was really a handful. Mm. And, we saw bits and pieces of that last year, and especially when it mattered. But, yeah, I mean, Gomes is going to get traded off too. I mean, they're going to do a mass sailing, I bet.
Basically, they thought the same magic that got them through last year was going to happen again. They thought that, for whatever reason, that all these players are going to play way over themselves, and getting let's give Stephen Drew $10 million to come back. That was a fantastic idea.
There's no excusing that move. That move's pretty tough.
Let's give Stephen Drew $10 million to stink up at the plate, but John Lester, no, we're not going to give him a red cent. Screw that guy. That's stupid.
You're in a fighting mood.
Well, the ownership of the Boston Red Sox are being fucking morons right now. So, yeah, I'm kind of in a fighting mood.
Well, I have a good segue to the last story of sports. You ready?
Yeah, sure.
Now, this is a great story because we have a guy named Joe Lundubar.
You want to try that one again?
No, it's true.
Okay.
Joe Lundubar. And he plays for I said Los Angeles Rams. He plays for the St. Louis Rams. The Los Angeles Rams was back in the day. So he's at a bar, and Dante Green, who is an NBA free agent, is at a bar. And I guess words were exchanged, and those two decide to fight.
That's always a good idea.
They both get arrested. I don't know. I don't have where that story ends. I don't know if they're still, I'm sure they're bailed out and now the lawyers take over. But my question to you, Eric, if you got NBA guys and NFL guys fighting, who usually wins?
NFL guy.
I would think the NFL guy, right?
Yeah. Did the NBA guy kick his ass?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm just thinking about this in my head. I'm going, man, I would think that the NFL guy would be way tougher than the NBA.
You would think. What position does the guy play again?
Dante Green?
Yeah.
I think he's, I'm speculating, but I think he's a guard.
Oh, then yeah, the guy, then he kicked the NBA guy's ass.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Or at least he should have.
So, but the kicker to the story is Dante Green's looking for a job. He's a free agent. So, I mean, you can't be doing that when you're looking for a job. You got to be on your
Let
best
me play
behavior.
for you after I kick this NBA guy's ass.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think, but Lobar or Lubar, whatever his name is, the guy for the Rams, he's all set for another year or so, I believe.
Yeah.
Again, speculation. But if you're a free agent, you don't get in a fight with another professional athlete. But I give him props. You know what? He's taking on another profestional athlete.
Yeah, and hey, he's got that fire in his belly. It's like, some coach will see that as like, yeah, sign him up. You'll beat the crap out of some guy. I don't know.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't know. Yeah, it was a very interesting story to me. Maybe we can check back next week and see where that finished off, and see if either guy is still participating in professional sports. But again, so many times you hear the stories of these professional athletes probably being, to be fair, being annoyed by normal people. They end up socking them. It's not really a fair fight, but this one is closer than normal.
Yeah. Well,
Are you ready for entertainment?
Yes.
He said yes. He said yes, everybody.
Yes. I'm
This is our favorite part of the show. We like entertainment.
Entertainment. That's what we live for.
Where do you want to start off? Do you want to start off with something?
Well, you got your little list over there. Let's start with your list.
James Garner passed away.
Dead as a doornail.
I loved him in Maverick. I loved him in the movie Maverick.
He's, he was, by all reports, hell of a guy, hell of an actor.
Yeah.
But yes, quite dead.
Those were the days, too. It was the mid to late 90s. Mel Gibson hadn't become crazy yet, or at least we hadn't known.
Well, no.
And, I remember Maverick coming out, the movie. And you had Mel Gibson, you had James Garner, and the female lead was
Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster. It was a good movie. It was a fun, happy, interesting movie. Mel was charming. James was charming.
And Jodie was, annoying, but...
Well, she was Jodie. She did what Jodie does. And it made me interested in seeing the original Maverick because that was the thing. Everyone was squawking, going, oh, wow, really cool. The original Maverick from the TV show is Maverick's dad in the movie Maverick. That's really clever. It's really cool.
Spoiler alert.
Well, no spoiler alert, because if it's like 20 years old. If you haven't seen it already, that's your problem, not mine. If we see a movie that happened today, yeah, spoiler alert. But 25 years ago, whatever it is, forget it. So I remember thinking that was really cool, really clever. And then I looked back on some of the old Maverick TV shows, and he was great. He was great. And then people talk about the Rockford Files. That was a real good show, too. So, yeah, sounds like he was a great guy and sorely missed.
Dead.
Speaking of death, this is my favorite story.
Oh, good.
You ready? This is my favorite story. When I saw this a couple days ago, it made me smile from ear to ear. Yeah, big smile. Big smile. There is a tree in L.A.
I read about this.
There's a tree in L.A.
Is this the memorial tree?
It's the memorial tree for one.
You shouldn't smile ear to ear about this because this is kind of you smile because that's irony right there. The George Harrison Memorial Tree was killed by actual beetles. That's amazing.
It doesn't get any better than that. An infestation of real beetles destroyed the memorial tree for one George Harrison, who I was a giant fan of. Probably my favorite Beatle. But real beetles took his tree down. They are going to replace it, so no worries. But that
We're
is
gonna give him another memorial tree.
but
We're gonna keep the Beatles out this time.
well, there's going to be the memorial tree, and then there's going to be the memorial for the memorial tree, and it's going to be hopefully
that won't be
beetle-free.
made of fiberglass.
And there's going to be another memorial tree, and they're just going to keep their fingers crossed that Yoko Ono doesn't shoot it. So that's I thought that was a great story. Great story. Now, Eric.
Not sure how great it is, but all right.
Oh, you never see
It
true.
was funny. It was.
You never see true perfection in headlines. The headline was George Harrison's memorial tree destroyed by real beetles. I mean, it's perfect. Doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, Eric, I know you're a giant fan of 50 Shades of Grey.
No, I'm not. I think I'm probably one of the only people who hasn't read that.
I haven't read it either. However, I did see the trailer, and that's what everyone's talking about yesterday. The trailer for 50 Shades of Grey.
Who cares? Who cares? I don't care.
Millions of women care, Eric.
I'm not a woman. I don't give a crap about any of this. It's stupid.
But I bet you that movie makes a ton of money.
Of course it will. Because women who aren't getting it at home.
Oh, easy there,
No,
killer.
it's
Easy.
stupid. I mean, how is this literature at all? I mean, forget the movie for a second. How did the books do so well?
Well,
It makes no sense to me.
I didn't get to read them, so you gotta, if you didn't read it either, you gotta be fair. If you're gonna judge, you gotta read the book and books.
No,
Yeah, you
no.
do. Because you know
I'm
what,
going to
man?
be completely unfair.
But at the same time, there's a lot of people that feel the same way about the Rawlings books. There's a lot of people that feel the same way about the Game of Thrones books. How are these books doing so well? And, you find the right genre. I'm sorry. You find the right populace that are interested in that. It takes off. Next thing you know, the media's on board. Next thing you know, everyone's got to read it.
Garbage.
The 50 Shades of Grey trailer
Garbage.
was interesting. I mean, I read the synopsis of the book, and spoilers. It's about, a woman who's not very attractive who goes in and interviews a guy who's really into S&M, and they end up having a relationship.
Uh-huh.
But the 50 Shades of Grey trailer kind of betrays that because the woman's pretty darn good looking.
I don't care. I don't know how else you want me to say it. I don't give a shit.
Can you say it in Spanish?
No. No, I can't. But I'll say it again in English. I don't care.
All right. How about Howard Stern defending Israel?
Not overly surprising.
I guess some guy called into his show and was pretty derogatory to the whole situation, and Howard put him in his place.
Well, Howard's Jewish, right? I think he is.
I have no idea.
I think he is. I don't know how, into it he is, but I think he is. But no, that doesn't really surprise me. He seems like a guy who would be like, I don't know.
Well, if one thing's for certain, if Howard has an opinion, he's going to let you know.
Oh yeah,
He's not going to hide from it.
If he thinks that,
Yeah.
if he wants to tell you that you're wrong, he's going to tell you you're wrong in probably the funniest and
Most obscure.
and probably obscene way possible.
And I think that's a good thing. I think there's so many people that parrot what they think is supposed to be the opinion on whatever topic, and Howard just tells it like it is. And I think more people need to do that. Just tell what you actually think and do some research and make sure you know what you're talking about. Good for Howard for speaking his mind.
Yes.
It's made him a lot of money. Eric, speaking of Mel Gibson,
Okay.
there's a new, and this is exciting for me, a new Mad Max that's going to come out in 2015. It's called Fury Road.
And Mel is not in it.
No, he's not. But Tom Hardy is.
It's Tom Hardy?
Tom Hardy's the guy.
Oh, I thought I was about to say it was Channing Tatum.
No, Tom Hardy, a.k.a. Bane,
It's Bane.
is going to, which is weird because I want to know what happens when they get to the part where, was it the first Road Warrior where
I've come to destroy Gotham.
no,
It's
no,
Bane.
the part in the first one with Mad Max, the Road Warrior where he goes up to the oil and it's just where the guy's like, just turn back now, just turn back.
The Road Warrior was the second movie.
No, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome was the second one.
No, Beyond Thunderdome was the third movie.
What was the first one?
Mad Max.
So it was the first movie.
Okay. There was Mad Max.
There's a scene where he's driving up and the guys are
No,
all,
I want to get this straight. There's Mad Max, The Road Warrior, and Beyond Thunderdome.
I'm going to check this out. I thought there was only 2.
Who runs Bottom?
But there's that scene. You know what I'm talking? You know that scene I'm talking about?
No. It's been forever since I've seen the first Mad Max movie. Or the second one, for that matter. Or any of them, for that matter.
Well, Beyond Thunderdome's cool because there's Tina Turner in it.
Master Blaster runs Bottom.
So Fury Road, I'm excited. And I think Tom Hardy's a good...
He's come to destroy Gotham. Burn!
So I hope that is as good a movie as I think it's going to be.
Yeah, it certainly has potential. And the world needs another Mad Max movie.
Sure, because we're closer than ever to that type of environment.
It's good to see our future every once in a while.
Now, I know you're excited about this. We were both very big fans of Firefly and Serenity.
Yes, indeed.
And
I'm very excited about what's coming.
There is an online game that has brought the whole cast of Firefly back to reunite to work on that game and submit their
Even
voices.
Alan Tudyk's going to be there. I don't know what he's going to do.
I mean, he's just going to lay there, apparently, because last we saw him, he was stabbed in the chest.
He's dead. No, apparently he's going to be doing, like, multiple voices. Like
He has to. He's not there. He's gone.
Where's Wash? Oh, that's right. He's worm food. Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, that was...
But no, I'm really looking forward to the game. I've actually been trying to register on the website like all day, and I haven't been able to yet.
Now, for those of you that don't know the backstory to Firefly, Firefly was a TV show that came out, and it was on Fox, right? That's who they initially tried to do it with?
Yes, it was Fox. And
Joss Whedon was the guy who did it.
Yeah, and Fox, in their infinite wisdom, as they always do, messed it up.
Yeah, they made them go with the second episode first.
Yeah,
before
the
first
they
episode.
made him shoot the. No, they didn't even show the pilot.
That's what I mean. The pilot
until mid-season.
Yeah, the pilot was left off. They went with the second episode,
which was a great episode in of itself, but not a pilot.
And it didn't show where a lot of the backstory was and where a lot of the stuff began.
Yeah, I mean, they would throw lines in there because they knew it was going to be kind of like a second pilot. So they threw lines in there that kind of like, oh, remember when this happened? And that explains your entire story? Sure.
But the show was brilliant. It had a great cast. It was basically a space western. And it sounds way cooler than what that sounds like. But
no, it was very good.
It was a great show.
It led to a movie in 2005.
Well, the movie is really interesting because the show had been cut after only one season.
Yeah, not even a season. They ran 10 episodes. They had shot 12, but they only ran 10 of the episodes. So they didn't even get through a first season. But it had such a following already that eventually it led to a movie being made in 2005 called Serenity.
Which was generated from a lot of online pressure. The people who were really interested in this movie and really the following that you just spoke about, they got online and they started talking about it and they started demanding that this be continued. And the best thing they can come up with was a movie. And the Serenity movie is awesome.
It is. It's a very good movie. Joss stayed true to himself by killing lots of people. I don't know why he does it.
Malcolm didn't go.
No, but he got close. Wash died. Spoiler alert.
Stop it. It was 20 years ago.
It was 9 years ago.
20. Everything that's not now is 20 years ago.
Okay. Book died. Spoiler alert.
Stop it. It was 20 years ago.
But no, I'm glad that they're finally able to do something.
Do you think this is going to regenerate interest in doing either A, another movie, or B, more TV?
No.
Well, what happens if the next Avengers movie, which is another one of Joss Whedon's projects makes a ton of money. If he has enough money, you think he'll use that power and influence and cash to try to bring something around for Firefly?
I don't see why you would. I really don't.
Just because he loves the product, he loves the situation, he loves those people.
I suppose he could. I suppose he even might. I wouldn't. I really wouldn't. As much as I'm one of those people who would love like something else, something more, something new, like
Sure, me too.
Give me another Firefly movie, or put it back on TV, blah 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 blah. I also, in the back of my mind, I'm like, I don't want it to suck.
Yeah, but you got to think Josh would let it suck.
Yeah, you'd think, but I mean, they can't all be winners.
Just think about it this way, Eric, and we can move on from here, but just think of it this way: the movies that it's a Mel Gibson night. The movies that Mel Gibson made after he did Passion of the Christ, Apocalypto. And
that beaver movie.
And
then there was Get the Gringo.
Yeah. All those movies are pretty good. And at the same time...
Even the beaver movie's good?
Well, have you seen the beaver movie?
I have not seen the beaver movie.
I heard it's all right. Point is that he has power and cash behind him, and thus he has control, and he gets to do whatever he wants. If Joss puts himself in that position...
Yeah, but you still have to get someone to buy it.
But that won't be a problem. I mean, because you know why? Because he has a track record of success. He's a track record. Look, I made the Avengers 1, Avengers 2. I made over $300 million.
And but here's the thing. One, Nathan Fillion has a job. He has a steady job. It's not going anywhere anytime soon.
I think he'd leave for Firefly.
No, he wouldn't.
Yeah, he would, because his show's boring. His show is like Murder, She Wrote.
A little bit.
It is. It's a lot like Murder, She Wrote. It's cool. I mean, don't get me wrong. Murder, She Wrote lasted 200 episodes plus or whatever it was. But
no, look, it's a fun show. I enjoy the show. It's not going anywhere, at least for the next 2 or 3 years, probably. Adam Baldwin has a show that is doing well.
Chuck's awesome.
No, you're an idiot. Really?
I like Chuck.
Yeah, fine, but it's not the show that he's on right now.
Oh.
Chuck is off the air. Try and keep up, will you?
I try.
No. This is
I only go as far as Netflix can get me. What's he on now?
It's called The Last Ship. It's on TNT.
What's it about?
It is about... I have not watched it yet. What I gathered from the trailer and the commercials that I saw, basically, this battleship or some sort of military ship is in either the North Pole or the South Pole. One of the poles, right?
It's cold wherever he's at.
It's cold. And they're on this mission with a bunch of scientists. And they don't really know what the mission is. The scientists do, but the rest of them don't really know what the hell's going on. And they're coming back from this mission. And they find out that the world's pretty much... If I'm wrong, I apologize. That the world's dead, sort of.
So it's Adam Baldwin and the Planet of the Apes?
No. It's basically.
You damn dirty ape.
No.
So it's
think of it like kind of like The Stand on water.
Oh, that's a cool idea.
Yeah. At least that's what I think it's about. I mean,
we can look into it.
That's the gist I got from it. He plays the executive officer of the boat.
So, like, seriously, Chuck is over?
Yes, it's been over for a couple of years now.
Well, what happened to him?
You're dumb.
Oh, don't tell me. I'll figure it out later.
The entire series is on Netflix, dude.
I know. I'm working my way through it.
Oh, jeez.
Well, some of us have to actually work, Eric.
I have 2 jobs, dick.
All right, fair point. All right. Cleaning up the rear here. We're at the end of our show, and I think it's another...
No, I'm not even done. No. See, all right, so you have Nathan Fillion, who has a job. You have Adam Baldwin, who has a job. You have Gina Torres, who has a job. You have Alan Tudyk. No one cares.
He's dead. He was a leaf on the wind, and then he was stabbed in the chest.
You have 3 of the main characters who have steady jobs. They're not going to leave just because Joss Whedon says, hop to. I mean,
Well,
they might think about it.
He could schedule it when they're in their off time.
Fillion has like 2 months off a year.
He said he loved wearing the mouse suit.
Yeah, sure, but it doesn't mean you leave a hit show because of it. If he wants to do another movie, go for it, but not another show.
Yeah, no, I think movie's probably the way to go, especially with the success of Serenity. And besides, a movie gives more.
It wasn't all that successful. You know that, right?
It was a success of the people that were
Yeah,
fans.
sure,
I mean, those are
but-
the guys who watched it.
Yeah, well, yeah, but it wasn't a commercial success. Not even close.
No one's a commercial success anymore these days.
That's not true.
It is true.
That's not true. The Avengers was a commercial success.
This is another headline that I should have added, but I didn't. But the movie industry's down 15% in terms of money.
And
They're not making commercial successes anymore.
they're not making the amount of commercial successes that they used to do, but a lot of the movies are still commercial successes.
I don't know about that. You can't be down 15%. But anyway, the point is that another movie. Well, think of it this way: it's an opportunity for Joss to kill everyone else off.
Just blow them all up.
Like at the very beginning. I don't want to explode. Oh, he exploded.
I aim to miss a...
Go boom. The grenades went off when they weren't supposed to.
Jane?
All right, now can I end the show?
Yes, please.
All right, the ending. It is the first time in the long, long career of one Weird Alfred Yankovic that he has the #1 album on the Billboard charts.
Good for him.
Yeah, right? Mandatory Fun is the #1 album on the Billboard charts. It is the #1 album that's being purchased on iTunes and Amazon.
Good for him. Look, I haven't listened to any of the album. I haven't listened to Al Yankovic stuff in years. I always liked him.
He's clever. He's actually a brilliant musician.
Yeah, he is.
He's
really
scary smart.
I mean, all I can really say is good for him. I wish him continued success.
Interestingly enough, his campaign to get this thing going was that he was going to release a music video every day for a total of 8 of them on his album. So every day he released a new video. And I think that led to a lot of success and people buying.
Good for him. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say.
Well, he's sort of a cultural icon.
Well, yeah. I mean, the guy's been around forever. The guy's been around since, what, 84?
It's been a while. It's been 25 years plus. And he's
6, maybe.
He's been doing this same bit for a long, long time. But he's everywhere. I mean, he's been in comedy shows. He's been on online comedy situations. He's done some cool stuff. He's always been... He was dubbed the king of the geeks and he owns the internet, that type of thing. So, but it's amazing. I mean, where does that put today's music? Because it used to be Weird Al was sort of a niche. You know, his stuff, you'd buy it because you'd buy it and you wouldn't tell anybody. You were like, yeah, I listen to Weird Al, but just kind of being closeted in. But now, like, the #1 album, that's crazy, isn't it? Good for him.
Good for him. Good for him. I mean, I honestly got nothing for that. You're right. I mean, I don't want to say it doesn't bode well for the music of today, because I actually like him and I like his music.
But that's what I mean. The music,
but it really doesn't bode well for the music for the day.
Because the music that comes out now isn't very good. It's not very clever. It's not smart. And the fact that he's able to take people's music and parody it and make it intelligent enough that everybody's buying it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. But good for him.
Yeah, good for him. So, episode 2 is in the books. I want to thank you all for listening. Eric, thanks for making another appearance.
You're welcome.
We'll see you next week. And that was another edition of the Empty Room Podcast. The Empty Room Podcast has a 2014 copyright. The music was by High Congress.